It's nice when we think of like a really big one that's super fun that we haven't covered yet because I'm not gonna say we're running out of topics, but Coach says think a little bit harder usually about like what we're gonna do next than before. It's like before I just had a backlog and stuff. It's like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and mostly we've just been flying by the seat of our pants since then. Just happened to not really have any slowdown in production just because I'm constantly thinking of fun new things to cover, and we happen to be smack dab in the middle of all the major sports seasons right now. We got basketball, we got hockey, we got college basketball, we got college football, we got pro football. You know what I mean? Like literally, you name it. Baseball just ended, right? So baseball's the only one that's not really catching my interest super big right now, and that made me think we probably need to take a bigger, harder look at baseball again because we don't want to get lazy about it. We like to stay a little bit up to date with each one, and we had not done the Wikipedia article devoted solely to the curse of Rocky Colavito. This is not a Rocky Colavito article. This is all about his curse. Okay, so we know it's a phenomenon that prevents our Guardians from winning. Okay, and we know that Frank Lane, our buddy, traded Rocky Colavito to the Tigers, right? So let's see, what's this say? Several curses. So they got Cleveland sports curse too. We're gonna click on that afterwards, right? But check this out. The Guardians, then known as the Cleveland Indians, played in the World Series in 95, 97, and 2016, but lost all three to Braves, Marlins, and Cubs, respectively. Cleveland has not won a World Series since 1948, which we know was 76 seasons ago because of the strike year in 94. Let's check out the origins of this curse. Okay, so of course it's the trade. We know all about this, right? So Frank Lane just gutted the whole team. He's just a complete moron, right? Literally traded every single guy. Check this out. The idea of the curse was first presented in print by Terry Pluto. Now, Pluto is definitely a coded name. I will say this guy is a very prolific sports writer. I've got more books from him probably than anybody, including the one that's sitting right next to me I'm reading right now, False Start, How the New Browns Were Set Up to Fail. And he's got about 10 more books I want that I don't own. So this dude's definitely been on the money for a while. He seems like he dodged a bullet by turning 69 this year in June, right? So we didn't lose old Pluto, but I think that's because he's got to finish telling these stories, right? I think he's going to live to be a long time, right? So real old man. Let's see. So books, Greatest Summer, Earl of Baltimore, Baseball Winner, 48 Minutes, Bull Session, Loose Balls. I want that one. Tall Tales, Glory Years of the NBA. The Curse of Rocky Colavito, a loving look at the 30-year slump. So we're definitely buying that the second we can find it. Okay. Bearing the Curse, How the Indians Became the Best Team in Baseball. Definitely getting that. Falling from Grace. Check this one out. Brownstown, 1964. The Cleveland Browns in the 64 championship. Hell yeah, we want that one because that's their most recent one. And it'll probably be thrown back to all the other ones too so we can see all the tie-ins. That one's probably a real winner. When All the World Was Brownstown. What the fuck? Our Tribe, a baseball memoir. Unguarded, My 40 Years Surviving in the NBA. Co-written with Lenny Wilkens. That's weird because, like, Unguarded, that's the Chris Herron story. The View from Pluto, collected sports writing about Northeast Ohio. I'd take that one, too. Honestly, this guy definitely seems like, we know it's probably just a fake character, but I'm saying these books are what we want. Classic work on art of managing a baseball team. Boo. False Start, How the New Browns Were Set Up to Fail. We got that one. Dealing, the Indians' new ball game. Rebuilding, a contender. Yeah, I would take that one. LeBron James and the remaking of the Cleveland Cavaliers. We take that. LeBron James make of an MVP. I guess we take that. I think Braun's mad boring, though. Things I've learned from watching the Browns. That sounds awesome. Let's see. Glory Days in Tribe Town, the Cleveland Indians in Jacobsfield, 94 to 97. Yes, we'll definitely take all that. He writes a bunch of books about religion, too. I'm sure they're mostly bullshit. But let's go ahead. Actually, we should have seen what awards he won, but let's go ahead and let's take a look at what's fun about this, okay? So, the idea, and keep in mind, this started in 1948. The idea of the curse was first presented in print by Terry Pluto, had previous covered the Indians and the Plain Dealer in his 1994 book, The Curse of Rocky Colavito. So no one even whispered in print about this curse from 48 to 94. And keep in mind, this is a city whose football team won championships in 46, 49, and 64. All three ways you could possibly flip 46, okay? How long between 48 and 94 is it? Right? First of all, 94 is a 64 coding. It just happened to be 46 years later when they told you about the curse? Okay. That just happened to be the strike year, too? Crazy. Okay. They hadn't even won a pennant in 40 years. That was crazy. Okay. Here's our 86 right there, 286. Rookie of the Year in 66. Let's see. Look, trade in 64. 67 games won. Come on, dog. 178 more. It's at 87. Still don't quite understand the 87, but we know it matters to them big time. It's just a new one to me because that never popped up in the Red Sox stuff, obviously. Let's see. We had to deal with the 76 and 86. We didn't have 3 like these guys do, or even 4. Let's see. 76. '84. Oh, yeah, well, we know this is an 84 club. No wonder we've gotten all the 84s. They won it in 48. What the fuck is wrong with Coach? Why can't he put 2 and 2 together sometimes, Joe? Alrighty. So, yeah, that's where all the 84s have been coming from. I don't know how that took so long. Maybe I figured it out and told you and forgot I figured it out and told you, but it feels like that's new to Coach. They traded this guy in 89. That's our 86 coding. There's another 87. And like another 84 win season in 86. What do you know? Let's see. They were Sports Illustrated cover jinxed. Boating accident that killed 2 relief pitchers. Jeez. Oh, check this out. On the day of the Colavito trade, the Indians played the White Sox in an exhibition game at 64-year-old Russ Wood Park. They had to tell you he was 64 years old. Right? Give me a break. Alrighty. 1896. It's 86 and 66 coding. We certainly like 1897 better, but we could certainly understand why they would take that number too. Let's see. Fired their manager right when the curse of Bobby Lane started. So the Bragan curse. Right on MLB.com. This is where we like it, okay? A witch tried to lift Cleveland's baseball curse. Obviously, this is a couple years old. We know the Guardians and the Cardinals curse is at 76. I'm wondering if the Cardinals, they might be at like 78 now or something crazy. Let's see. I don't really care too much about them yet. Wait, in 58, it was at the 67 game mark, yo. They get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Come on now. Come on. Sorry. 67 games, then we better start a curse. Let's see. 1984 is writing about it. For some reason, Brenda had taken a witchcraft course during his senior year at Kent State. The class was taught by women who were self proclaimed witches. Being a somewhat recent graduate, he still had one of their phone numbers, so he reached out. Now, I do want to say, so I talk about all of the different, like, classes and religions and stuff, I've studied. I I want to make this very clear. It's like people seem to have, I don't want to say the wrong idea, because it could be the right idea for a lot of people. There's all sorts of different classes about any different angle you would want to cover these. But I'm not going to take a class that's teaching me how to do witchcraft. I don't want to fucking do witchcraft. I'm studying the history of these witchy motherfuckers, right? Like, when did they first start telling us about these witches, right? What the fuck did they used to do? Like, I'm not trying to figure out how to do it. I just want to figure out their history, figure out how they operate, so we can prepare against them, right? So that was my that was my witchcraft course. It was called Plagues, Witches, and Witchcraft, like the history of witchcraft in Virginia or something like that, because it was UVA class. So like I said, that one was just all like historical narrative. When I talk about the magic class, it certainly wasn't teaching you how to do magic. It's just like, this is the history of magic. We used to believe this stuff. Now we know better. We're so much smarter. But they used to take this stuff very, 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 very seriously and would kill you over it. But that's just because they were stupid savages, right? So, yeah, that's what Coach is saying there. Like, he studied the history of these religions. And with a lot of the religious stuff, I would be a science course on religion, which I knew would have a bad slant or whatever, but they're going to tell you how they believe these groups fit into their society, right? Well, this group, they flood the river, or this group, they're burning stuff because they believe this or whatever, right? So, just saying, I certainly, wasn't like having some sort of Harry Potter Hogwarts like type experience. You know what I mean? It was very dry. It was difficult, possibly even more boring than a lot of other classes. As far as some, like, that was kind of just telling you like about like the religions themselves. Like, I took a Norse mythology one, and it pretty much just seemed to cover like what they believe in the history of it. It was mostly boring and lame. But we won't get too deep into that. Just wanted to say, and they talk about like, oh, Coach has studied witches, and these guys are like, oh, I took a witchcraft course. I'm just saying, I'll bet their witchcraft course was wholly different from what my witchcraft course was. Right? So let's see, I called them up. Hey, I was in one of your classes in 1978. What do you know? It was a great class, and I'm looking for a witch to take her soft baseball team. They kind of laughed, and I said, no, really. The problem, these witches lived way over in the east side of Cleveland near Pennsylvania. Brenda lived on the west side. He needed a witch closer to him. Alrighty. Luckily, his professor witches did have a witch connection in the east. It's like, this stuff just makes me like sick and like, God, it's so corny. There's no, like, why are we even talking about this? This didn't fucking happen. Like, obviously we know there's a clue here, right? Like the name or something, or where it's at is a clue to how the curse is getting broken, or a sign that will show the curse is being broken, right? That's what we believe. Boring shit. Her name was Elizabeth, and she worked at a flower shop. Alrighty. He thanked the witches. You should always thank a witch. And he drove out to the shop located just outside Cleveland. He asked for Elizabeth when he got there, and the woman at the register told him she was in the back. I walk in the back and I go, "Hi, you're Elizabeth, aren't you?" Look at me and goes, "Yeah, this is going to be really weird, but I understand you're a witch." She just looked at me like, "Who are you?" Brenda explained who he was and the dire situation the club was in. Elizabeth wasn't a sports fan, but thought about it for a while and decided she'd do it. Cleveland agreed to stage the event the day before its April opener. Okay, let's see. She lived on a street in Lakewood, and she was known to be a white witch. Ooh, she was not the Wicked Witch of the West. Her neighbors told me when there was a summer solstice or winter solstice, she would come outside her house and dance around. Let's see, originally wanted to fly one of the radio stations, a helicopter, but she declined. She picked the witch up and car, drove to the stadium. Even though there was no gamer crowd there that day, the media descended to the stadium to watch Elizabeth work her powers. Let's see. The woman, only known as Elizabeth, set up a charcoal fire, burned herbs and incense, called on a supreme goddess to remove the curse that was put on the Cleveland Indians by a rather misguided individual, and then declared the curse removed. There are no guarantees in life, she said. My lawyer told me I have to say that. Despite the caveat, Elizabeth's incantations might have worked. The Indians won the game 8-2. Yeah, one game proves the curse is gone. Cleveland, as you probably know, did not win anything in '84. It went 75-87 and finished sixth in the AL East. Brenda brought Elizabeth onto his show the next year, hoping she could really break the curse. This time around, a loss. It did not. Oh, let's get the person who fucked up the first time, do it a second time. You already said there's more witches. Why are you bringing the fucking failure back? Oh my god. Alrighty. They go on to put up the worst record in all of baseball. Oh, all the fucking idiots on live. Oh, see, witchcraft isn't real. They thought they could just fix it. Like, they didn't know that this was gonna fucking happen. You're at something like, God, they're doing all this stuff and I completely made it up. Unbelievable. All this show, all this ridiculous. An actual witch casting spells on a baseball field for nothing. We just had a lot of fun doing it. I like this part. It shows how big a sports town Cleveland is. Yeah, like, Cleveland's not the biggest sports town, but they really, really, really care about their sports. That fucking matters. They're not a team or a city that's just going to be happy with, you know, their teams always being failures. They'll always support them and always believe in them, but they do have expectations and do get very disappointed when they don't happen, right? So, let's see. They may be more used to it than a lot of their fan bases, but it still hurts when you get let down, right? So, let's see. Bragan. Alrighty. Let's see what Red has to say, and we'll close it out on this. Do you believe in Santa? Magic ain't real. You mean the book? Pluto made up the curse as a book title. The real curse is from Bobby Bragan, who Lane fired in 1958. He cursed us on the pitcher's mound to never win a pennant. We broke that one in 95. So, like, I love that logic. It's like, oh, this curse is real, but that curse is real. If they're telling you about a few different curses, you better fucking have them all figured out. It's like, oh, the curse was broken in 95, and we were only cursed to win the pennant. Like, it's only been, what, another 30 years and no World Series, so what the fuck happened, bro? I thought your curse was broken. And, like, the Guardians play baseball to win pennants. They don't try to win a fucking World Series ever? That's crazy. Alrighty, let's see. No, but I absolutely do blame Deshaun Watson. That's classic. Alrighty, we'll end on that.